Alright, today we're describing the 7 FGO singularities from memory. The last time I played through these were on my free-to-play alt account over 2 years ago, so yeah, let's get started. Alright, so basically, the game starts with us being introduced to the best girl, a cat squirrel, a really cute tsundere, the senpai from Nagatoro, and the Mona Lisa, as well as the Lucky Charms guy. They tell us that we're in an observatory run by wizards in Antarctica. The extremely secure facility catches on fire and the best girl gets hit by a rock. We pick the rock up and the god of shields throws it at her and she becomes a multi-action shield holder, aka MASH. We and MASH then go into the cryosleep coffin pods and shoot to the year 2004 where the global warming is starting to take effect. Also, the cute tsundere is there somehow. She teaches us how to use wizard skills until we eventually run into Lancer, except he went to dog training school. He tells us that King Arthur's Ahoge fell off, so we need to go take her out. But ghost servants, which is kind of redundant, want to stop us. We bust the ghost servants and go to a cave where we find the Hulk ghost. Lancer hits him with a stick and he falls over. Now it's our time to fight King Arthur. Mash and Lancer manage to reattach her Ahoge and she ascends to Avalon. The day is saved and the tsundere starts to develop feelings to the main character. This doesn't last long because the Lucky Charms guy shows up and Tomoe goes her into the sun. It turns out the Lucky Charms guy, the sneaky leprechaun, was the bad guy the whole time. He then uses instant transmission to get away, and our heroes return to Antarctica. Nagatoro senpai tells us that holy grails have popped up throughout all of time and now we have to go and grab them before some crackhead makes a wish to resurrect his dead friend but evil, and so our story begins. Also, we then are allowed to pull the GSR gotcha and get Marie because anytime I've ever rolled it, I've only ever gotten Marie. Some crackhead found the holy grail and wished for his dead friend to come back to life but evil. She also now has the ability to create and summon dragons. We teleport to France and see what's going on, but not before we see an exposition scene where servants are becoming crackheads as well for some reason. While in France, we meet up with a blonde wearing an ineffective helmet face thing carrying a stick. She says that she is a saint but has a body of sin, but out of consideration we humor her fantasies. We learn that shields have a sharp side but MASH refuses to use them and instead bonks people on the head. We take out like 2 insane servants and run into Marie again. I think she has a makeout scene with Jean, but that may just be me. Anyway, we also meet up with Mozart, who tells us he's worthless despite having a 50-star star bomb. The party then learns that Fafnir has been summoned, that they need to find a dragon slayer, so they go looking for one and find a lizard and a snake instead. Out of pity, they accept the pair to their party and eventually find the Great Apologizer. Marie and Mozart leave to protect civilians but die in the process. Great Apologizer throws a sword at Fafnir and he drops his wings and some money. The rest of the party storm the castle and find out that the villain was actually Jean and her it isn't a phase. She's being backed up by a pedophile with an octopus fetish. A brawl ensues and then we kill the two. Goth Jean remarks that she will never exist again, but actually Jill's won't because he's limited to the story gotcha and who rules on that anyway. We pick up the Holy Cup and return to Antarctica. Next up, we're sent to Rome right after Jesus was stabbed to death and brought back, giving Nero dragon rot so she was losing her faculties a bit. We show up and meet the large-chested emperor who tells us that the Roman emperors from the past are rising up and waging war on Rome. She has recruited the assistance of 2 Chinese people and 2 people who hate Rome to fight these adversaries like a smart person would. We stab Caesar in the back and then ace Caligula. We then find out that a much greater threat is approaching Rome, an illegal alien with a popsicle sword. So we need to recruit the gods to help us. Thankfully, there is one in England, so we walk across the continent in 2 minutes and discover that she's a sassy lost child. We take her back to Rome, but she can't really help us because gods can't be servants until we get to the Lost Belts. Nero uses her incredible cuteness and the alien disintegrates. She then gives us the Holy Grail and then we return to Antarctica. She is then left to die in the woods a few weeks later. We go to the ocean next and find ourselves in league with pirates and scoundrels. We're greeted by a woman who my comment section claims is actually Queen Elizabeth I, but calls herself Frances Drake. She has the Holy Grail and uses it to summon endless alcohol and parties with her crew. We then joyride for a bit and then run into a pirate ship, this one run by Blackbeard the Otaku. With him are a pair of lesbians who hate him, and the goddess from the last Singularity, but 1 rarity lower and significantly more useful. We grab her and then run aground at the labyrinth with the Minotaur. As it turns out, he's just lonely and develops a crush on the goddess. She accepts his love, making one of the cutest fate pairings. Our party leaves the labyrinth and now there are 2 pirate ships. Blackbeard's in the Argo, run by a bastard who is hated so bad that they've redesigned him 4 years later. With him is his lowly wife in the Hulk non-ghost form this time. He sticks the Hulk on us and the Minotaur grapples him long enough so that we're able to get away. Blackbeard catches up but Drake shoots him in the balls and he dies. The lesbians thank Drake and then go off on their honeymoon. We learn that if we want to kill the Hulk, we need the power of Christ and that there is a box full of it on an island somewhere. While there, we find a cat girl, her goddess, and a teddy bear, and retrieve the box. We also find a polygamist who assists us in setting up the Christ box. The Hulk opens it and converts to Christianity and leaves to go tell others about the good word. Jason becomes furious, claiming that God isn't real until his wife turns him into a demon, proving the existence of the Christian mythos. We then kill both of them because in Fate canon, every religion is kind of correct. Drake then gives us her cup and we leave thoroughly chafed from the sea salt. We teleport to London next and nothing happens. No, seriously, something about magic fog making servants, we kill Jack the Ripper, a mech, and a long guy. Mordred and Frankenstein are cute together and Jekyll is just there. Nursery Rhyme shows up and gets a name from Hans Christian Andersen, but who cares? We gather all these people together to go confront the Lucky Charms guy, but he gets ripped in half by a Yu-Gi-Oh villain. He then dumps all this exposition on us about how we aren't strong enough and that humanity is stupid. I forgot to mention earlier that this guy incinerated all of humanity except for our observatory because we were just that well hidden in Antarctica, despite the fact that he was also there. He does the whole I could kill you all now but I won't because I'm arrogant as hell, and he says he puts these rings in the skies to indicate that he put a cup in this timeline and then he pieces out. We find the cup somewhere, I don't remember where because this is legitimately the worst section of the story. We teleport to America and the Irish have had enough of being the lower class and started a revolution, led by their thought queen and her edgy boyfriend. Edgy boy stabs Rama in the stomach and he develops a gangrene, but manages to escape. Some Irish guy hits on MASH so we try and kill him, but they get away. We meet up with Florence Nightingale who wants to amputate us. Together we find Rama and turn him into a backpack and travel across America in 1 minute. Along the way, we recruit Billy the Kid, a projection user, and Nero, who is late for her wedding. We manage to hunt down and murder the pair that tried to take MASH from us and their gorilla friend as well. We then come in contact with the lizard as well and welcome her to our party. Her and Nero plan to have a concert, so we split the party up and send Nero, Billy, and Projection to die. We go on to meet a furry cosplayer with a Ghostbusters pack and a child claiming to be the world's most famous occultist. We convince them that we know how to fix America, and that the first step is fixing our dying friend. Also, Karna is there. We take the lizard with us to go fight Beowulf, which is a bad idea because she's technically a dragon, but we pull through anyway. Using the power of love, Rama becomes healed. We then travel to the other side of the continent to avenge the people we sent to their deaths. We then come across a youthful-looking woman who says that she won't help us. Instead, she leaves to go fight a Chinese guy. We then storm the Thought Queen's palace and she casts tentacle hentai on America. We manage to kill her and her edgy boyfriend, and Nightingale declares America is cured. Alright, so the next Singularity is called Camelot, but it actually takes place in Jerusalem, much to the confusion of a friend of mine who thought that both were fictional. This time the Mona Lisa tags along to show how good at Lego she is. She makes us a car and we fight a bunch of homeless people. We find a pyramid in the desert and one of the cutest girls in the series takes us to not Gilgamesh whose head is falling off. He tells us to leave, so we do. As we're leaving, we run into a knight who explodes our car and the Mona Lisa with it. We come across a castle in the middle of the desert with a bunch of people outside. We run into a guy who's got a Thanos glove. He's pretty cool. The people in the castle observe how long their eyelashes are and decide that only 3 people are cool enough to come inside, and then they try to kill everybody else. We stop and grab a child and make a run for it. We are recognized for stealing this child by a local assassin who takes us to the assassin village. We meet up with Arash and some other assassins who tell us that a cute girl has been taken to a torture chamber. Out of a sense of horny, we go off to save her. It turns out that she's adorable but kills everyone that she touches, so naturally we go over to pick her up. To her shock and surprise, we don't die, and thus the one beat for this character in every interaction has been solidified. We take our newfound friend to a village that is being raided by the girl who we spent the entire London Singularity with, but now her daddy issues are worse. After she fails, she calls her dad who shoots a space laser at us. We escape by being launched onto a rooftop by Arash to another village. Arash, being an absolute Chad that he is, sacrifices himself to stop the space laser by shooting it with a rock. What an absolute legend. We then plan to mount an attack on the enemy's castle, but first are advised to enlist the help of the grandpa assassin. We go to say hi and he kills us for a second, then he decides against it. We convince him to help, kind of, and then go off to recruit and knock off Gilgamesh. On the way, we pick up Da Vinci, who is actually not dead, and we get a new car. We beat Knockoff Gil's ass, and he tells us that we have to leave, so we do. With everything in place, we go to attack the castle. Grandpa attacks a gorilla, and the rest of us sneak in. All the assassins we met attack a crying Doomer and die in the process, but Big Hand Hassan cuts off his arm and shows Doomer the true meaning of gorilla grip. The rest of us go and attack Mufasa, who tells us she's trying to recreate the Matrix. Knockoff Gilgamesh drops a Bass Pro Shop on something and to stop the space laser from killing people. Mufasa's most loyal knight, which was the guy who has the Thanos glove, who slaps her and then she dies. Mash then downloads the city into her shield and gains a new ultimate. Thanos then disintegrates into dust and we go home. The final Singularity takes place in Babylon, where a gay couple are having relationship problems. By that I mean one of them died, kind of. Anyway, we teleport into the air but are saved by the god of Thigh's ass. She then gets mad at us and leaves. We then walk into a forest where we find a Clayman, the lowly Grim Reaper, and a Cock Wizard. Our cat squirrel, who looks like the Cock Wizard, also hates the Cock Wizard, so they have a boxing match. The cat squirrel wins. The Clayman then tries to use the infighting as a distraction to kill us, but is blocked by the lowly and Mash. He announces that his name is not Clayman, but actually Kingu, and then he flies away. The rest of the party then walks to Uruk to meet up with the not knockoff but different looking Gilgamesh. He tells us to leave and we don't, so he summons the god of Thighs to sit on us. She instead tries to sit on him but fails because of his sheer Chad energy. Impressed with our ability not to be sat on, he sends us to work with my wife, her weird stalker, and a bodybuilder. We do a month's worth of RPG starting jobs and then learn that hell is like 3 feet below us and 3 goddesses are planning to destroy the world for some reason. One of them keeps shooting demons out of her to try and destroy everyone. One is trying to recreate Mucha Lucha in 3D, and the other is biding her time to reveal that she is in fact the real best girl. We decide to deal with the demon mill first and mount an attack on her. In the process, the bodybuilder gets rock hard and dies, and my wife is kidnapped, but we manage to show them that we are cool. My wife's stalker gets sad and walks into the ocean. We decide to try and enlist one of the goddesses to help us, and figuring that we have modern tech, we can help recreate Mucha Lucha. So we go find her in the woods and she German suplexes us. Turns out we're into it and she joins us. I also think that there's a makeout scene here, but I may just be reading too much literature. She says that she'll give us a hand but can't attack any of the other goddesses or else she will explode. To get the help of another goddess, we climb a mountain that she has destroyed but is still there for some reason and beg for help. Because she is a tsundere, she says no but helps us anyway. When we come back, Gilgamesh has died of dysentery, so we go to Hell to save him. In Hell, the goddess of Thighs shrinks to the size of a fairy, alluding to Lost Belt 6. When we meet the Hell goddess, we tell her that she's cute and she turns into a big-ass skeleton and attacks us out of embarrassment. We beat her and she gives us Gilgamesh's soul and we promise to see her again. We decide to try again to kill the demon MILF now that we have help. Turns out that she's turned my wife evil but still cute and that she can multiply, opening up several doors of opportunity. We deal with her and the demon MILF, and the lowly Grim Reaper reveals herself to be the demon MILF as well. The two do the fusion dance and fall into Tartarus. With that dealt with, the Clayman runs into the woods looking for his mom, who is dead. All of a sudden, the ocean turns into mud and the cutest goddamn thing the arcade got but we didn't appears. Tiamat starts to sing and turns people into Nikons. The mud starts wiping out all of civilization, so we go to deal with Tiamat. It turns out that the mother of all gods and demons is a hard opponent and my wife has now pledged her loyalty to her. Thankfully, her stalker rises out of the ocean, prays the sun, and disintegrates both of them out of existence. Tiamat still keeps walking towards the land, so Kingu, who realizes that we are the good guys, becomes a huge chain and holds her back for a bit, and then the Mucha Lucha goddess drops the sun on her. This is only a temporary fix and Kingu dies in the process. Now that we are single, we go and hit on the Hell goddess, who says that she can open up the underworld and trap Tiamat inside. We do so, and then Grandpa from the last Singularity shows up and offers to save us. Due to his age, no one knows death better than Grandpa, and he declares to Tiamat that death is real and that she will die eventually. Tiamat has a panic attack like I do at 3 in the morning in the bathroom and then starts to die. The Cock Wizard makes a bunch of flowers while Grandpa and the rest of us start slapping her. This works out pretty well and Tiamat dies. The flowers in Hell stick around just long enough for the Hell goddess to fall in love with us. In all of the chaos, Gilgamesh and the rest of the people in Babylon died, but we declare the mission a success. Mucha Lucha goddess and the Thigh goddess say goodbye to us and then we go home. I think a cat was involved in the Singularity as well, but I think it was comic relief, so I just left it out. Now we're on to the final Singularity, and we go to fight the guy from the really boring chapter. He summons all of his tentacle hentai monsters to get us, but all the friends we made along the way start appearing and destroying everything. Depending on how much you love your servants, they will do more damage in the Singularity. It's really neat. If you did this when it first dropped, shout out to you, let me know in the comments. Once all the immortal monsters are dead, the villain who claims to have been Solomon appears and turns into an evil plant muscle man who shoots lasers. He tells us he wiped out humanity because it was stagnant, but that's a really dumb reason, so we send a supportless Bond 10 Herc with a Bonsai to solo him. Once that's done, it's revealed that we didn't actually win. He turns into a cosmic man and tries to kill us. Mash then transforms into a shield and dies, protecting us. Then the senpai from Nagatoro appears and he says that he's the real Solomon, making the Cosmic Man freak out. The cat squirrel, who's actually a crazy powerful demon, resurrects Mash because she's too damn cute. This kills the cat squirrel, kind of. Then Solomon deletes System 32 and the Cosmic Man dies. Humanity is recinerated in the process, thus saving the day. We then go to Antarctica and see that climate change has started to take effect and that it stopped snowing. We stare at the sun for a while holding hands with Mash. The end. Alright, so then the next chapter, there's goths and motorcycles.